Hello, and welcome to The Voice. My name is Joseph Salama, and I'm here today with Josh Chau, Director of Community Relations candidate for Our Future. Thanks for coming and sitting down and just talking to us on this beautiful Saturday day. Yeah, no.
I absolutely appreciate it, Joseph. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's just jump right in here. What motivated you to run for this position?
Well, one thing I noticed is that it starts on the community at large level. When we see people in the community and they get their degrees, they go out and get a job, and they use the earnings from their job to get a big house, a nice car, and luxuries, basically. And I think that we need to change that. We need to make sure that we educate people to feel a sense of community, to have pride in that community, and to contribute back to society. And that starts here at the university level. Let's educate our students and make sure that they have that sense of community. So when they get their diploma and their degree, they get out into the world and contribute in some way or another. And I think that it's almost a calling that to come into this position and to build those bonds between communities, to make sure that these diverse communities interact with each other. Another reason is that I feel like, as a person who's come from the residence halls, that I feel a bit uncomfortable going to a Greek member or going to a commuter on the bus and talking about things at the University of Washington. I think that being a student at the University of Washington connects you to a huge network of students. And I want to make sure that people feel that even though we have over 40,000 students here on this campus, that they feel connected in different ways. And we start that by building communities, by integrating different diverse groups aligned with student passions, so that they interact with each other. They're able to make friends at co-programming events. They're able to go to different communities, go to different meetings, and just get involved in their community.
Yeah. Many people have complained that this position is rarely present, that it could simply be replaced with a short email, that people show up to large meetings held by their constituency, give a few sentences in the back and leave. All this is despite constant candid promises of that personal connection. What experiences do you have to support your promise that you're going to be personally engaged with your constituencies?
See, there's a fundamental problem in the way that this position is carried out. It is a very open position. It's people try to fill different areas, and I mean, it's just really open. There's no specific task that you really have to do. It's part of a larger picture, and people need to identify with that. Yeah. You only have a year to make a difference. And in the past, candidates have done this job 100%. There's no doubt. They from the job description, in the bylaws and constitution, they've done it. They've done it 100%. However, I want to bring something different. I want to bring a vision, a passion to this position, so that when people take this position in the future, that they feel that passion. They feel that there's something here already, and that we need to build on that. You can't lead without vision, and I really think that not only going to these constituencies, not only going to the residence halls, the RHSA General Council, not only going to the Greek community and just saying your spiel and leaving, but going in there and making connection with the leaders, and making connection with not only the leaders but the representatives as well, chapter house leaders, RHSA RHSA reps, and really building that bond. I mean, staying the entire meeting is a huge difference. There's a difference between a short email and being at a 2-hour meeting. Just having that presence, that ASUW is there, that ASUW cares about you, will build that community. We'll make sure that there's a line of communication going back and forth. And that's just one small little thing that I think that has been overlooked in the past. Not only just talking about ASUW related issues from the board of directors, but also talking about different diverse communities. I want to reach out to other RSOs. I've done that with my position as RHSA Director of Public Relations. And reaching out to these RSOs and bringing back information to these larger communities really makes a difference. It captures their interest. I know that there is a lot of representatives in RHSA who are involved in different cultural groups, and such as JSA, CSA, and I think that if I go to these groups and then I bring back information, hey, there's this event going on, I think more people will be inclined to line up with that and listen to what I have to say. And that's important. I think that people really zone out when they just hear ASU Dub, Senate legislation. It's pretty boring to the average person. And really, it's just presenting things in a very visual and appealing manner. There's something that's been really overlooked, and that's aesthetic appeal.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you send out a short email, chances are people are going to delete it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're there and you're saying things that are relevant to their interests and their passions,
Mm-hmm.
that makes a huge difference. That's
Yeah.
making an impact.
Yeah, it's true.
Mhm.
It's very true. Let's see. What communities on campus do you closely relate with or identify with?
So there's a lot of communities, no doubt, on this campus. I mean, University of Washington fosters so many different interests and passions. I closely identify with the Ethnic Cultural Center, you know, being many different races myself, and also identify with the Q Center. And I feel that these are large constituencies and large groups that we can really bring to the front. It is part of the position to relay like information from to and from the ECC. I also identify with different interest groups as well. Like I mean, I have many different hobbies, and I really pursue those passions. I do a lot of community service and volunteer services, and that's something I'm really proud of. And I think we should bring more more of those services on campus. You know, there's a lot of people who don't. Who just do homework and just walk around campus, hang out with their friends and stuff. But there's a lot of free time, and that free time can be used to be, given back to the community. And that's all. That's not really.
yeah, absolutely. This question is a little bit more specific to the actual job description of the Director of Community Relations, as dictated in the ASU bylaws. That the question is, how will you work with Senate to ensure that Senate resolutions are followed up in your communities?
Definitely. So as one of the two board positions that liaison to Senate, I think it is very important to make sure that communities know about different resolutions, that know what ASUW's stance is on certain issues. The issue is it's really hard to go to communities and read off legislation, whereas whereas blah, 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 all that stuff. And it's just not appealing to people to listen to those. I think that we should consolidate the information and make sure that it's appealing to people, that it's easy to read, that it's easy to understand for the common person. Legislation is not the easiest and most entertaining thing to read. And letting communities know that these things do affect people, that that there are results that come from ASUW legislation. I think that a huge misconception is that when people come out of high school, they feel like it's just their high school ASB body all over again. Yeah. And that is far from the truth. Bringing legitimacy to ASUW's claims and resolutions will really help, making sure that people feel that ASUW does something for them, showing them the results, working with the Director of Communication to communicate those results to the student body. People will actually listen. People will say, hey, ASUW is actually lowering the prices on my UPass and letting everyone have it. It's great. Yeah. I mean, that's something that people want to hear. And we really need to tell people, like, this is what ASUW did, and this is what ASUW is going to do. People are more willing to listen to something that affects them as an individual. And it's very important that we reach out to these communities and reach out to the representatives and individuals within those communities to make sure that they understand that ASUW makes results.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Our final question for the interview is, what are your goals for improving safety? The community relations position works with chairs a student safety committee, and also works with the North of 45th committee. So what are your goals for student safety as if elected? Absolutely.
Now, safety is something that everyone can agree is very important. And with the UW PD planning to cut 6 officers, I mean, that's just not the solution. I mean, we've seen a lot of crime around this area. It's the U district. You have to say, I mean, how many times have you seen a UW alert say, someone got mugged? I hate seeing that. I want to make sure that people feel safe in the University of Washington, that when they learn here, that they don't feel that their lives or their personal belongings are in danger. And that really starts with making sure that we establish safety audits, at least per quarter, to make sure that these audits identify the places that are most affected. on campus is relatively safe compared to north of 45th. And I think that should be a priority. That it should be a priority to make sure that north of 45th is safe for our Greek community and our Greek fellow students. And I really want to encourage an increase in lighting in the areas around campus. I mean, the more lights you have, the less chances there are for crime. That's one very simple step that I want to take to make sure that safety is ensured. Going back to the safety audits, when we identify the areas, I mean, making sure that we talk to UW PD to make sure that there are patrols around that area, to make sure that and also to make sure that safety does not inhibit the college experience. You only go to college once, and you go here not only to learn, but to have fun. And we want to make sure that people here at the University of Washington have fun, but they also feel safe. And those shouldn't, to a certain extent, they shouldn't interfere with each other in that aspect.
Yeah, so, yeah, absolutely. And that's all we have. Like, that's all the time we have. And I just wanted to thank you for coming out on behalf of the editors, the writers, and just everyone who's been reading the Voices. Just thank you for taking some time off of your busy Saturday. It's glorious outside, and you're sitting in St. Condon. So I just thank you for taking the time.